Alex Morgan yawned as she looked at the clock on the wall of her small office. It was almost midnight Earth time. She had been working for 16 hours straight, but the repair list for tomorrow was finally done. As head engineer of Orbital, Station 7's maintenance dock, her job never seemed to end. She rubbed her tired eyes and stood up to stretch. Through the large window of her office, she could see Earth below, a beautiful blue sphere against the blackness of space. Orbital Station 7 had been built 10 years ago, after humans joined the Galactic Alliance. It was not the biggest or the most advanced repair station in the galaxy, but it had a good reputation among human ships. Alex was about to leave when the emergency alarm went off. The sound made her jump. She grabbed her tablet and ran to the control room. "What's happening?" she asked as she entered. The room was filled with screens showing different parts of the station. People were moving quickly, talking into their headsets. Station Director Frank Daniels turned to her, his face serious. "We have an unscheduled arrival. A ship just entered our space and is asking for emergency repairs." "One of ours?" Alex asked, already checking the repair bay status on her tablet. "No," Frank said, his voice lower now. "It's alien. Raxian, to be exact." Alex looked up in surprise. Raxians were insect-like aliens from a system 17 light-years away. They had their own repair stations, much more advanced than Orbital. Station 7. "Why would a Raxian ship come here?" "They're requesting permission to dock," said Joe, the communications officer. "The captain says they have critical damage to their warp stabilizer." Frank frowned. "Why didn't they stop at their own repair stations? There are at least 3 between here and Raxian space." "Unknown, sir," Joe replied, "but they're not going to make it much further with that kind of damage." Frank looked at Alex. "What do you think?" Alex checked the repair bay schedules. "Bay 4 is empty. We can take them." Frank nodded. "Okay. Tell them they can dock. But I want security present just in case." 20 minutes later, Alex stood in repair bay 4 with Frank and a team of 4 security officers. The massive doors opened slowly, revealing the alien ship. It was smaller than Alex had expected, about the size of a human scout vessel. Its outer hull was a dark green color with strange symbols painted on the side. Damage was visible on the port side, where something had hit the ship hard enough to bend the metal. The ship's landing gear extended, and it settled onto the bay floor with a soft hiss. A moment of silence followed, then a door on the side of the ship slid open. A tall figure appeared in the doorway. Captain Zegathal of the Raxian scout vessel was almost 7 feet tall. His body was covered in a hard, shell-like exterior that reminded Alex of an earth beetle, but with more segments. 4 arms extended from his upper body, and his head featured large compound eyes and moving mandibles instead of a mouth. He wore what looked like a uniform, with insignia Alex didn't recognize. "Greetings, humans of Orbital Station 7, the alien said in slightly accented English. The words came from a small translator device attached to his uniform. "I am Captain Zegathal. Thank you for allowing us to dock." Frank stepped forward. "Welcome, Captain. I'm Station Director Frank Daniels. This is our head engineer, Alex Morgan. She'll be overseeing your repairs." The alien turned his large eyes toward Alex. She couldn't read his expression. Alien faces were still a mystery to her, but his posture seemed respectful. "Engineer Morgan," he said with a slight bow of his head. "Your assistance is greatly appreciated." "Happy to help," Alex replied, trying to sound professional despite her surprise. "Can you tell us what happened to your ship?" "We encountered an unexpected debris field near the Proxima system," the captain explained. "Our sensors failed to detect it in time. A large piece of metal struck our port side, damaging our warp stabilizer." Alex nodded. That explained the visible damage. "And may I ask why you bypassed your own repair stations to come here? Our technology is, well, less advanced than yours." Captain Zekathal's mandibles clicked together softly. "Human repairs have favorable reputation among deep space travelers. You fix things differently." Frank and Alex exchanged confused looks. "Differently?" Frank asked. "Yes," the alien captain replied. "Your species approaches problems with unique perspective. My fellow captains who have experienced human repairs speak highly of the results. Alex wasn't sure if that was a compliment or not. Well, we'll need to inspect the damage before I can tell you how long repairs will take. Of course, Captain Zikathal said. My crew and I will remain on board unless you require access to the interior. Over the next few hours, Alex and her team carefully examined the damaged warp stabilizer. It was indeed advanced technology, but the principles were similar to human warp systems. The stabilizer controlled the ship's warp field, preventing dangerous fluctuations during faster-than-light travel. Without it, the ship risked tearing itself apart at warp speeds. Standard alien procedure would be to completely replace the damaged unit. But replacement parts for Raxian ships weren't available on a human station. They would need to find another solution. The next morning, Alex presented her plan to Captain Zekathal. We can't replace the entire stabilizer, she explained, showing diagrams on her tablet. But we can reinforce the damaged section with a titanium alloy and recalibrate the internal field generators to compensate for the structural changes. The alien captain studied the diagrams with his large compound eyes. This is not standard procedure, he noted. No, Alex admitted, but it should work. We've done similar repairs on human ships. Fascinating, Captain Zekathal said. Please, proceed. It took Alex's team 3 days to complete the repairs. They worked in shifts, carefully following Alex's plans. The work was challenging. Alien technology always was, but also exciting. By the final day, Alex had gained a new appreciation for Raxian engineering. When the repairs were complete, Alex ran a full system diagnostic. The results surprised her. Captain, she said, showing the alien the readout. The warp stabilizer is now functioning at 112% of its original efficiency. Captain Zekathal's mandibles clicked rapidly, which Alex had learned was a sign of surprise or excitement. How is this possible? Alex shrugged. The titanium alloy we used is lighter, but stronger than your original material, and the recalibration allows for better energy flow. It was just the most efficient solution with the materials we had available. The alien captain was silent for a moment, his compound eyes fixed on the readout. Finally, he looked up at Alex. This confirms what I had heard, he said. Human repairs are indeed special. You do not simply restore, you improve. Before departing, Captain Zekathal paid not just the agreed fee, but added a substantial bonus. More importantly, he uploaded a highly positive review to the Galactic EA network, recommending Orbital Station 7 to other alien captains. As Alex watched the Raxian ship disappear into the darkness of space, Frank joined her in the observation deck. Well, he said, that was unexpected. Alex nodded, still confused by the whole experience. Why would advanced aliens want our primitive repairs? Frank shrugged. Maybe being primitive has its advantages sometimes. Neither of them realized that this was just the beginning. Within weeks, more alien vessels would begin appearing at Orbital Station 7, all requesting the human repair method. And Alex Morgan's life was about to change forever. 6 months passed since Captain Zekathal's visit to Orbital Station 7. Life had changed completely for Alex Morgan and her repair team. The message the Raxian captain had posted on the Galactic Network spread quickly. First came 2 more alien ships, then 5, then dozens. Now, Orbital Station 7 had a waiting list 3 months long. Alien captains from all over the galaxy wanted what they called human touch repairs. Alex had been promoted to a new position, interspecies repair relations. Her job was to talk with alien captains, understand their needs, and figure out what made human repairs so special to them. Frank had also created a special team of engineers who worked only on alien ships. I still don't understand it, Alex said to Joe Ramirez. Joe had been moved from communications to work as a cultural liaison with the alien visitors. They were sitting in the station's cafeteria, drinking coffee after a long day. Why would advanced aliens want repairs from humans? Our technology is at least 100 years behind most of theirs. Joe shrugged. Maybe it's not about the technology, maybe it's about how we think. What do you mean? Well, I've been talking to some of the captains. They say something interesting about human repairs. Tell me, Alex said, leaning forward. They say we're unpredictable, creative. We don't follow the standard way of doing things. Alex thought about this. It was true that human engineers were trained to be flexible. When you're exploring deep space with limited supplies, you learn to fix things with whatever you have. I've asked permission for you to interview some of the captains, Joe said. Maybe they can explain it better than I can. The next day, Alex met with Captain Drawl in meeting room 3. Drawl was from the Andromeda Galaxy, and his species looked like large blobs of blue jelly. He moved around in a special floating container filled with the gases he needed to breathe. Thank you for meeting with me, Captain, Alex said, sitting down across from the alien. The pleasure is mine, Engineer Morgan. Drawl replied, his translator turning his bubbling sounds into English. Your reputation grows among ship captains. That's what I want to talk about, Alex said. Why do alien captains prefer our repairs? Your technology is more advanced than ours. Drawl's body rippled, which Alex guessed was his version of nodding. Your species does not worship perfection, he explained. You embrace adaptation. Where my engineers would discard and replace, you tinker, you improvise. The result is ships that have character, that have resilience beyond their original specifications. Alex took notes on her tablet. So it's about creativity? Partly, Drawl said, but there is more. Factory repairs from my world are always the same, always perfect, always identical. But sometimes identical is not best. Sometimes unique is better. After talking with Drawl, Alex interviewed 5 more alien captains that week. They all said similar things. Human repairs were different, unexpected, sometimes better than the original design. The most dramatic example came 3 weeks later. Captain Nevra's massive cargo hauler had been repaired at Orbital Station 7 2 months earlier. The ship had returned from a long journey through a dangerous part of space. An ion storm had disabled 3 other cargo ships of the same type. But Captain Nevra's ship had survived without damage. It was the power distribution system your team installed, Captain Nevra told Alex during a video call. Nevra looked like a tall, thin human with green skin and no hair. The way you connected it created a unique energy flow pattern. When the ion storm hit, that pattern protected our critical systems. That wasn't planned, Alex admitted. We just did what worked best with the parts we had. Exactly, Nevra said, smiling. That is why we seek human repairs. As Orbital Station 7's reputation grew, so did the pressure from Earth's government. They wanted to know the secret of human repairs so they could share it with the Galactic Alliance. Politicians and scientists visited the station, watching Alex's team work. There is no secret, Alex told them. We just fix things the best way we can with what we have. But the visitors weren't satisfied with that answer. They wanted something they could write down, something they could teach in schools or program into computers. One evening, after another long day of visits from government officials, Alex found Frank in his office. He looked tired. More questions. About our repair secrets? She asked, sitting down across from him. Frank nodded. They don't believe it's just human creativity. They think we've discovered some advanced alien technology and are keeping it secret. That's silly, Alex said. We're just doing our jobs. I know, Frank replied. But the situation is getting complicated. The Galactic Alliance Trade Commission is starting to ask questions too. Some of the big alien shipbuilding companies are not happy with us. Why would they care about a small repair station like ours? Frank looked at her seriously. Because we're cutting into their business. Think about it, Alex. If ships repaired by humans last longer and work better, fewer new ships need to be built. Alex hadn't thought about the politics of the situation before. She was just an engineer doing her job. But now she realized their work was having effects far beyond Orbital Station 7. The next day, a new ship arrived at the station. It was bigger than any they had seen before, a Hegemony battlecruiser. The Hegemony was one of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. Their technology was said to be thousands of years ahead of Earth's. When the ship docked, its captain requested a meeting with Alex personally. Captain Vrax was tall and thin with pale white skin and 4 arms. His species looked almost skeletal to human eyes, but they were known for their intelligence and long lifespans. "Engineer Morgan," he said when they met, his voice deep and formal, "your reputation has reached even the Hegemony High Command. I have traveled 12 parsecs to seek your assistance." "What seems to be the problem with your ship, Captain?" Alex asked, trying to hide her surprise. "Our quantum navigation array is malfunctioning," Captain Vrax explained. "Our own engineers have tried 3 times to repair it without success. I believe your unique approach may succeed where they have failed." Alex felt a mix of pride and fear. The quantum navigation systems of a Hegemony battlecruiser would be far more advanced than anything she had worked on before. "We'll do our best, Captain," she said. "But I should warn you, we've never worked on Hegemony systems before." Captain Vrax nodded his long head. "That, Engineer Morgan, is precisely why I came to you." As Alex walked with Captain Vrax to inspect his ship, she wondered what secrets they might discover inside. Little did she know that this repair job would lead to a discovery that would change humanity's understanding of starships forever and plunge Orbital Station 7 into the center of galactic politics. The Hegemony battlecruiser was the most impressive ship Alex had ever seen. From the outside, it looked like a long, dark spear with strange patterns along its hull that seemed to move when you weren't looking directly at them. Inside, it was even more amazing. "This is our navigation center," Captain Vrax explained as he led Alex and her team through wide corridors with high ceilings. The room he showed them was large and circular, with a glowing sphere in the center. Around it were control panels with symbols Alex didn't recognize. "The quantum navigation array is connected to this central sphere," Captain Vrax said. "It allows us to plot courses through space-time with extreme precision." Alex nodded, trying to hide how impressed she was. "What exactly is happening when it malfunctions?" "The array loses synchronization with our destination coordinates," Vrax explained. "It causes our jumps through space to end up slightly off target. For a ship of this size, even small errors are dangerous." Alex's team was given access to the technical systems and began their work. Samantha Wells, one of Alex's best engineers, was the first to notice something unusual. "Alex, come look at this," Samantha called from her position near the glowing sphere. She was using a human scanner to examine the system connections. Alex walked over. "What did you find?" "The readings are strange," Samantha said, showing Alex her scanner. "It's almost like the system is reacting to our scans." "Reacting like it's alive?" Alex asked. "Not exactly, but something similar," Samantha replied. "Look at these patterns." Alex studied the scanner readout. The energy patterns did seem to shift and change as they watched, almost like they were responding to being observed. Alex turned to Captain Vrax, who was standing nearby. "Captain, is the navigation array partially organic?" Vrax tilted his head. "Organic? No. It is composed of quantum-aligned materials and energy fields. But it responds to stimuli like a living thing," Alex said. "All advanced systems show adaptive behaviors," Vrax replied. "It is simply advanced technology." Alex wasn't so sure. She asked permission to bring in Dr. Pete Kennedy, the station's xenobiologist. Pete normally studied alien life forms, not ships, but Alex had a theory she wanted to test. When Pete arrived, he brought specialized equipment for analyzing biological samples. Captain Vrax seemed confused but allowed it. "This is completely outside my normal field," Pete said as he set up his equipment. "But I'll do what I can." After several hours of tests, Pete called Alex and Samantha to a small room they were using as a temporary lab. "You were right to call me," Pete said, his eyes wide with excitement. "These readings are incredible. The navigation array isn't purely mechanical. It contains what I can only describe as semi-organic components." "Semi-organic?" Alex asked. "Like it's partly alive?" "Not alive in the way we understand life," Pete explained. "But these components respond to stimuli in ways similar to living tissue. They adapt, learn, and even heal under the right conditions. That would explain why standard replacement procedures don't work well," Samantha said. "If you replace parts of a living system with artificial components, the system might reject them." Alex thought about all the repairs they had done on alien ships over the past 6 months. The pattern was becoming clear. "We need to change our approach completely," she said. "We've been treating these ships like machines, but we need to treat them more like patients." Over the next week, Alex's team worked with Pete to develop a new repair method for the Hegemony ship. Instead of simply replacing damaged components, they treated the navigation array as a semi-living entity that needed healing rather than fixing. They created a special energy field that encouraged the system's natural healing processes. They carefully removed damaged sections and allowed the healthy parts to grow and extend into the empty spaces. They monitored the system's responses and adjusted their methods based on what worked best. Captain Vrax watched their progress with growing interest. At first, he had seemed skeptical of their unusual methods, but as the navigation array began to show improvement, his attitude changed. "Your approach is unorthodox," he told Alex one day as they observed the array's power levels, rising steadily. "But I cannot argue with the results." "It's not just unorthodox," Alex replied. "It's based on a completely different understanding of your ship's systems. They're not just machines, they have organic qualities." Vrax was silent for a long moment. "This knowledge is not widely shared with younger species like yours." Alex looked at him in surprise. "You mean you knew?" "Of course," Vrax said. "The Hegemony has been building ships this way for millennia. What we do not fully understand is why human repair techniques work so well with our systems. Your species has no history with semi-organic technology." "Maybe that's exactly why," Alex suggested. "We approach each problem fresh, without preconceptions." After 2 weeks of work, the navigation array was fully functional again. In fact, it was working better than before, with a 15% increase in targeting precision. Captain Vrax was more than satisfied. "Engineer Morgan, you have done what our best technicians could not. The Hegemony High Command will be most interested in your methods." Before leaving, Vrax made Alex an offer that shocked her, a chance to visit the legendary shipyards of the Hegemony homeworld. There, she could study how their vessels were built and potentially revolutionize human understanding of starship technology. "It is an honor rarely extended to non-Hegemony species," Vrax explained. "But I believe the exchange of knowledge would benefit both our peoples." Alex was excited by the opportunity, but also worried about leaving Orbital Station 7 during such a busy time. She promised to consider the offer. As she was walking back to her quarters that evening, Alex received an urgent message from Diane Collins, the station's security chief. "Alex, we need to talk," Diane said when they met in her office. "I've received some disturbing information from our contacts in the Galactic Alliance." "What kind of information?" Alex asked, feeling a sense of dread. "Several powerful factions are becoming concerned about humanity's growing influence in starship technology," Diane explained. "Some are calling for restrictions on human repair facilities. They claim we're violating intellectual property regulations by modifying proprietary systems." "That's ridiculous," Alex said. "We're just doing repairs. The captains come to us voluntarily." "I know," Diane replied. "But there's more to it. The major shipbuilding powers are losing business because ships repaired by humans last longer and perform better. They're putting pressure on the Alliance Council." Alex sat back in her chair, thinking about Captain Vrax's invitation. It now seemed more important than ever to understand the true nature of advanced alien vessels. "We need to learn everything we can about these semi-organic systems," she said finally. "If powerful groups want to shut us down, our best defense is knowledge." What had started as a simple repair job had now become something much bigger. Alex realized she was at the center of a situation that could affect humanity's place in the galaxy, and her next decisions would shape not just her own future, but potentially the future of human-alien relations for generations to come. Alex spent 3 days thinking about Captain Vrax's offer. She talked with Frank, Samantha, and Pete, asking for their advice. In the end, she decided to accept the invitation to visit the Hegemony homeworld. If human repair techniques were causing problems with the major powers of the galaxy, she needed to understand exactly why. "I'll be gone for about 3 weeks," Alex told her team. "Samantha will be in charge while I'm away." Frank wasn't happy about her leaving, but he understood how important this opportunity was. Just be careful, he said. The hegemony aren't known for sharing their secrets easily. 2 days later, Alex boarded Captain Vrax's battlecruiser. The journey to the hegemony homeworld would take 1 week at maximum warp speed. During that time, Vrax allowed her to study the ship's systems in detail. Our vessels contain what we call adaptive matrices, Vrax explained as they walked through the ship's main engineering section. They are created through a special process that combines technology with specially grown materials. So they're not exactly alive, but they're not exactly machines either, Alex said. Correct. They exist somewhere in between. When they finally reached the hegemony homeworld, Alex was amazed. The planet was covered with tall, crystal-like structures that sparkled in the light of its 2 suns. But even more impressive were the orbital shipyards. This is where our greatest vessels are created, Vrax said as their shuttle approached one of the massive space stations. Inside the shipyard, Alex discovered something that changed her understanding completely. The hegemony didn't build their ships, they grew them. In enormous chambers filled with strange energy fields, ship components developed from small seed-like objects. Hegemony engineers monitored the process, adjusting the conditions to shape how the components grew. The process takes about 2 Earth years for a ship of this size, explained Zareth, the shipyard's chief engineer. He was older than Vrax, with skin so pale it was almost transparent. Each vessel develops unique characteristics based on the conditions of its growth. That's why standardized repairs often fail, Alex realized. Each ship is as unique as a person. Precisely, Zareth agreed, which is why your human approach has been successful. You treat each ship according to its individual needs, rather than following standard procedures. Alex spent 2 weeks studying the hegemony shipbuilding process. She learned that many advanced species in the galaxy used similar methods, though each had their own variations. The massive ships that traveled between the stars weren't simply constructed, they were cultivated, like living things. As her visit came to an end, Alex felt both excited and worried. The knowledge she had gained would revolutionize human understanding of starship technology. But she also understood why powerful interests might feel threatened by human repair techniques. When she returned to Orbital Station 7, Alex found the situation had gotten worse. Frank met her at the docking bay, his face serious. The Galactic Alliance Trade Commission has launched an official investigation, he said as they walked to his office. They claim our repair methods are interfering with proprietary biomechanical systems without proper licensing. That's ridiculous, Alex said. We're just helping ships that come to us voluntarily. I know, Frank replied. But there's more to it than that. The major shipbuilding powers operate what amounts to a planned obsolescence scheme. Ships are designed to require regular factory servicing, creating a perpetual revenue stream for them. Our repairs are disrupting this model. When they reached Frank's office, Alex found a surprise waiting for her. Commissioner Larntik of the Galactic Alliance Trade Commission was sitting there. He was a short, round alien with blue skin and 6 small eyes arranged in a circle on his face. Engineer Morgan, Larntik said, standing up. I've been waiting to speak with you. Commissioner, Alex replied, trying to stay calm. What exactly is the Trade Commission's concern with our repair facility? Larntik's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. The issue is quite simple. Your facility is modifying advanced biomechanical systems without proper certification or licensing. This violates multiple trade agreements. We're just doing repairs, Alex said. The captains come to us because they want our help. That may be true, Larntik replied, but the intellectual property rights for these systems belong to the manufacturers. They invested millennia of research into developing this technology. The real issue became clear to Alex. This wasn't about rules or regulations. It was about money and control. So what happens now, she asked. The commission will hold hearings next month, Larntik explained. Until then, your facility may continue operating, but we recommend you limit your activities to human vessels only. After the commissioner left, Alex and Frank discussed their options. The situation looked bad. The major shipbuilding powers had far more influence in the Galactic Alliance than Earth did. We need allies, Frank said. I might have an idea about that, Alex replied. The next day, she sent messages to every ship captain whose vessel had been repaired at Orbital Station 7. She explained the situation and asked for their support. The response was better than she had hoped. Within 1 week, ships began arriving at the station, not for repairs but to show support. Captain Zakathal was among the first to arrive. "Your message reached us at the edge of the Raxian sector," he told Alex. "I came as soon as I could." "Thank you," Alex said, "but I'm not sure what difference it will make. The Trade Commission has already made up its mind." "Perhaps," Zakathal replied, his mandibles clicking softly. "But they have not heard from the independent captains and traders who make up the majority of galactic traffic. We have our own influence." As more ships arrived, a plan began to form. The independent captains and traders from 17 different species agreed to speak at the commission hearings. They would testify about how human repairs had saved lives and livelihoods. Meanwhile, Frank worked with Earth's government to develop a legal defense. He also started organizing what he called a right-to-repair movement, arguing that ship owners should have the right to seek repairs from any qualified facility. The smaller independent worlds and trading outposts began supporting the movement, too. Many of them had their own repair facilities that operated similar to Orbital Station 7, though none had been as successful with advanced alien vessels. As the date of the hearings approached, Alex worried about what would happen. The major shipbuilding powers had thousands of years of influence in the galaxy. Earth had been part of the Galactic Alliance for less than a decade, but she also felt hopeful. The support from the independent captains and smaller worlds showed that humanity wasn't alone in this fight, and the knowledge she had gained at the hegemony shipyards would help them make their case. "We're not fighting against alien technology," she told her team during a meeting. "We're fighting for the right to help these semi-organic ships in the way they respond to best. It's not about human versus alien. It's about listening to what each individual ship needs." The day before the hearings were set to begin, Captain Vrax's battlecruiser returned to Orbital Station 7. Alex was surprised to see him again so soon. "I did not expect to find you still operating," Vrax said when they met. "The commission allowed us to continue until the hearings," Alex explained. Vrax nodded his long head. "I have come to offer my support. The Hegemony High Command has taken an interest in this situation." "Does that mean they're on our side?" Alex asked hopefully. "Yug, Hegemony rarely takes sides," Vrax replied. "But we value knowledge and innovation. Your approach to ship repair represents both. It would be inefficient to allow it to be suppressed." With the Hegemony's support, along with the independent captains and smaller worlds, the fight was becoming more balanced. As Alex prepared for the hearings, she realized that what had started as a simple repair job had evolved into something that could change the power structure of the entire galaxy. The Galactic Alliance Council chambers were located on a space station called Unity Point. It was a huge ring-shaped structure that floated at a point in space exactly halfway between the territories of the founding Alliance members. Alex had never been to Unity Point before. As she stepped off the transport ship with Frank and the rest of their team, she felt nervous. The council chambers were famous throughout the galaxy. This was where the most important decisions affecting all species were made. "Impressive, isn't it?" Frank said, looking at the soaring ceilings and walls made of a strange, shimmering material that seemed to change color as they walked. Alex nodded. "I never thought I'd be here to defend repair techniques." The hearing was scheduled to begin in 2 hours. Their group was shown to a waiting area where captains from all over the galaxy had gathered to support them. Captain Zakathal approached. "Alex, the council has agreed to hear testimony from 20 ship captains," he said. "We have chosen those with the most compelling stories to represent us." "Thank you," Alex replied. "I just hope it's enough." The council chamber itself was a large circular room with seats for over 200 representatives from different worlds. In the center was a small platform where speakers would stand to address the council when it was time for the hearing. To begin, the chamber filled with representatives. Alex was surprised at how many had come. This issue seemed to have captured the attention of the entire alliance. Commissioner Larntik spoke first, presenting the case against Orbital Station 7. "The issue before us is clear," he said, his 6 eyes blinking in sequence. Human repair techniques are interfering with proprietary biomechanical systems without proper certification or understanding. This not only violates trade agreements but potentially endangers ships and crews. Representatives from the major shipbuilding consortiums spoke next. They showed diagrams and technical specifications trying to prove that human repairs were dangerous and unauthorized. These systems require specialized knowledge developed over thousands of years, said a representative from the Melniran shipyards, one of the oldest in the galaxy. Humans simply do not have the experience or understanding to modify them safely. Then, it was Earth's turn. Frank stepped onto the speaking platform first. Members of the council, he began, this case is not about technical specifications or trade agreements. It's about a simple principle, the right to repair. Ship owners should have the freedom to choose who repairs their vessels and how. Alex spoke next, explaining what she had learned about semi-organic ship systems and how human repair techniques worked with these systems rather than against them. We don't replace parts with standardized components, she explained. We help the ship's own systems heal and adapt. Our approach is more like medicine than mechanics. Then one by one, the ship captains gave their testimony. They told stories of how human repairs had saved their vessels, improved performance, and even saved lives in emergency situations. Captain Nevra described how his cargo ship had survived the ion storm that disabled similar vessels. An old Dralaxian captain explained how human repairs had extended the life of his family's trading vessel by 15 years. But the most powerful testimony came from Captain Vrax. As a representative of the hegemony, his words carried special weight. I came to Orbital Station 7 when my own engineers failed 3 times to repair our navigation array, he told the council. The human approach succeeded because they recognized something we had forgotten, that our ships are more than machines. They are living technologies that respond to care and attention, not just replacement parts. The chamber was silent when Vrax finished speaking. His support clearly surprised many of the representatives. Commissioner Larntick and the shipbuilding consortiums presented their counter-arguments. They claimed the captain's stories were exceptional cases, not the rule. They warned about safety risks and technical problems that might develop later. But their strongest argument was about economics. If ships no longer need regular factory maintenance, one consortium representative argued, the entire shipbuilding industry will suffer. Millions of jobs across hundreds of worlds could be lost. It was a powerful point. Many council members looked concerned. As the final statements were being prepared, Captain Nevra asked for permission to show something to the council. When approved, he displayed maintenance logs from his ship and 5 others of the same model. The logs clearly showed that after standard factory servicing, performance actually decreased in many systems. They designed the ships to need constant maintenance, Nevra explained. Not to improve them, but to keep us dependent on their services. Human repairs break this cycle. The council deliberated for 3 days. Alex, Frank, and their supporters waited nervously. The decision would affect not just Orbital Station 7, but potentially humanity's place in the galaxy. Finally, they were called back to the council chamber to hear the ruling. The head counselor, an ancient being from one of the founding Alliance species, announced their decision. After careful consideration of all testimony and evidence, the Council has decided to establish new regulations for ship repair throughout the Alliance. Ship owners will have the right to seek repairs from any qualified facility. Technical specifications for biomechanical systems will be made available to certified repair stations regardless of species. The chamber erupted in cheers from the independent captains and representatives of smaller worlds. The consortium representatives looked unhappy, but accepted the decision. However, the counselor continued when the noise died down, to ensure safety and proper training, human engineers must share their innovative techniques with the galaxy while respecting the semi-organic nature of advanced vessels. A new interspecies engineering academy will be established for this purpose. 1 year later, Alex stood in her office overlooking the busy repair bays of what had once been Orbital Station 7. The station had been expanded and renamed the Galactic Interspecies Engineering Academy. Ships from all over the galaxy came not just for repairs but for training and cultural exchange. Human engineers now worked alongside alien technicians, each learning from the other's perspective. The right to repair movement had spread throughout the Alliance, changing not just how ships were maintained but how species worked together. Alex watched as a new class of students, representing 15 different species, gathered in Bay 4 for a lesson on adaptive repair techniques. The instructor was Captain Zekathal, who had retired from space travel to become a teacher. "Engineer Morgan," a voice said behind her. Alex turned to see Captain Vrax. "Captain, I didn't know you were visiting the station," she said, surprised. "I came to share some news," Vrax replied. "The latest statistics on ships serviced using the new combined techniques show unprecedented reliability and performance improvements. The Hegemony High Command is most pleased." "That's wonderful," Alex said. "And what about the shipbuilding consortiums? Have they adapted to the new reality?" "They resisted at first," Vrax admitted. "But several have begun developing new ship designs specifically meant to work with interspecies repair techniques. They are finding new markets for vessels that improve with age rather than deteriorate." As Vrax left, Alex turned back to the window. Below, a young human engineer was working side by side with a Raxian technician, their 4 hands moving in perfect coordination as they repaired a ship's system. What had begun with one alien captain seeking human repairs had evolved into something much greater, a new understanding between species, a new approach to technology, and a new place for humanity in the galactic community. As Captain Zakathal had once said during the council hearings, humans taught us that imperfection is not something to be corrected, but something to be integrated and learned from. In repairing our ships, they have helped repair our understanding of the galaxy itself.